Good night. Have one doing tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma J. Spears of Divine. I'm here to give you a word on tonight, and this gonna be a good word tonight. And the topic gonna be Jonathan son. Sit at the table like a king. His son, his son was the only one left alive. You know, he had lost lost his father, then he lost his grandfather. So he lost two people in one day, and he was just 5 years old. Excuse me. And he was just 5 years old. You know, now this story about Jonathan's son. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm gonna be saying Jonathan's son. His grandson, and his grandson's son, Saul. You know, um, so the son, he was 5 years old. You know, when both his father and his grandson had died the same day. You know, so at a battle, you know, on a hill. Now after the death of Saul and his father, you know, the the son nurse had grabbed him to take him to go hide. You know, once she had heard that they had killed his father and his grandfather, she know they were gonna try to come for him. You know, so she grabbed the son, and as she was running, he fell, and that's how he got crippled, lame in both of his feet, and he was lame for the rest of his life. You know, but that's just a part of the story. He's still at the end gonna have a wonderful story. You know, so when the nurse heard that his father and his grandfather died, she know they were gonna try to come after him to try to get the whole bloodline. You know, so she hurried up and grabbed the son. You know, to keep him from danger, and as they was running, you know, keep him from the danger of the power struggle for the throne. And see, that's what it was. That's why she hurried up and grabbed him, because they killed the son, and they killed Jonathan in his grandfather. They know they were gonna try to come for him. You know, could try to get anyone that was in their bloodline. You know, 'cause it was all about power. You know, so he fell down, and he became to be limb in both of his feet. You know, for the rest of his life. You know, so the son took the lifestyle of a refuge, hiding from the public. You know, so he was 5 years old. And this nurse here, she loved children. You know, so she gonna raise him like that's her own child. Gonna learn him about God. They gonna learn how to respect everything. You know, but by him being crippled, she gonna give him the mindset to live life the best way he can. You know, and not be bitter. So he grew up not being bitter, knowing he crippled. His father dead, his grandfather dead, you know, and the nurse kept him from being bitter. You know, so now not even David knew that he's still alive. See, David think everyone in the bloodline is dead. You know, remember David and Jonathan was real close. They did a comforter together. They really loved each other. You know, so when he gonna find out that his son's still alive, that's gonna be a happy ending for David. You know, so this boy been hiding since he was 5 years old. You know, and now he is grown. He is a grown man, a man who suffered so much as 5 years old. You know, emotional, physical, mental, you know, spiritual. I mean, he just suffered, and that's a lot for a 5-year old boy to take in, you know. But he grew up to be, you know, the nurse helped him to grow up to be a decent man, and not to grow up bitter, you know. So he grown. Now he could have been bitter. You know, he lost his father. He lost his grandfather. You know, he become to be crippled for the rest of his life. You know, but he is not bitter. This nurse took good care of him. She loved the children. That was a perfect job for her. And she raised him like that was her own child. You know, so he's not bitter. You know, for years. You know, later he found a remarkable content and spiritual He was a healthy person, even though he was crippled. He was healthy. Thanks to this nurse. She was a praying woman. So she taught him multiple things of how to live without being so bitter. Because she know what he went through. She know what he went through. So this nurse, his nurse took good care of this boy. She made sure his mind was in good tech to survive life, being a disability. She kept his mind intact. So his nurse had provided safety and faith. You know, for hard time. Cause she know she wasn't gonna be around. All the time. Because time he gonna get to David, she gonna be in a pass away. So learning from her to embrace the simple joy of everyday life. Now his nurse give him the tools. She give him the tools to live. Live with dignity. And thankfulness. Because she told him just cause you crippled. Still be thankful. Because you lost your father, you lost your grandfather, even though you crippled, still be thankful to still be alive. You still healthy. But you crippled, but you're still alive and you're still healthy. So he was disabled, but he walked far taller than most men. He still did a whole lot of stuff. He have his own family. He have children and all. So he stand tall. You know, being a crippled person. Not stand tall in his feet, stand tall as a man in his mindset. Because the nurse taught him about his mindset. But so he won't be so bitter because he crippled. So now we see that this nurse loved this boy, raised him till he got grown. This boy did not let his disability stop him from living life. Cause he got children, children and all. So that didn't stop him from living life. He kept on living life. The mourn for his dad and his grandfather. He know he had to live life because he know that was not coming back. So life is full of hardship. It's full of hardship. I know. And struggles. But if how we deal with it. Like I said, everyone deal with their battle, their storm, different from everyone else. Some people can deal with it and just go through it like that. And some people like me, it just be so hard. Everybody deal with it different. So our living God, who love us even in the mix of our suffering, even in the mix of our crippleness, even in the mix of our brokenness. Our God gonna always love us and be there for us. And the nurse taught him all that. She taught him, to love God. So remember, David don't know that Jonathan's son is alive. David still don't know. So that his nurse had him hidden since he was 5 years old. Hidden him from the public since he was 5 years old. So David know that everyone in Saul bloodline is dead. He don't know that his own Jonathan's son is still alive. Now David is seeking a way to honor his friend Jonathan. Cause remember, David have everything that's for Saul. His land, his property, everything that belongs to Saul. Jonathan not here to collect it. So David gonna be asking his servant, do anybody know if anybody in Saul family is still alive? I want to show kindness, and honor them with all this belongings and give it to someone that deserve it in Saul bloodline. So Saul have property, he have land, You know, Saul have a whole lot of stuff. Saul was rich, and David was under Saul. Besides, kept on running and stuff. So David don't know who to give it to, who to honor to, who to be kindness to. So this story gonna come from 2 Samuel, chapter 9, 1 through 13. So David asks, "Is there anyone left in a house of Saul, to whom I can show kindness?" For Jonathan say, he just only want to show kindness. To Jonathan say, and give the belongings, Saul belongings to anyone that's in their bloodline. You know, so so now Saul's servant household, now Saul's servant is still alive. His name Zebul. He answered and said, "David, there is still, a son of Jonathan. He is crippled in both feet. So he let him know. Yes, they got someone still alive in some bloodline, Jonathan's son. So that's a good thing for David, because David loved this Jonathan, and he's trying to honor someone in his bloodline, for Jonathan's sake. So now David thought everyone was dead in Saul's bloodline. So now he know that Jonathan's son is alive, which is good because David loved Jonathan. So now he has someone to honor and show his kindness to. And David asks where he at. He want to know where he at. So he is in the house. He in the house of Mark or Amos or something. Or something I can't pronounce. I can't pronounce everything in the Bible. But he in that strange land. Cause you remember the nurse had to go somewhere far from the public. So she hired him since she was 5 years old, and she had to go to where it's duck off at. She took him away from the public. So now David sent someone out to send the boy back to him. So when the boy got to David, now the nurse raised him to be respectful now. So when the boy saw David, he bowed down to pay him honor. He a respectful boy. And the nurse raised him very well. Now he was afraid. Remember, he ain't saw nobody since he was 5 years old. He been hidden from the public. So David said, "Don't be afraid." David said, "I will surely show you kindness, for the sake of your father Jonathan." And David gonna love to show kindness to Jonathan's son, because he loved Jonathan. For his son to still be alive, David gonna take care of that boy. So David told his son, Jonathan's son, "I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul." Now he about to get all the land that belongs to his grandfather. Now see, this what David is telling the son. So you will always eat at my table. Now David telling him, I'm about to give you all your grandfather's land. And not only give you his land, you can eat at my table every day. Now David have all the kings and stuff sitting at his table, for dinner. They always eating at David's table. So now, and then one of the servants gonna talk about he crippled in his leg. That David said that doesn't matter. It's just a blessing that Jonathan's son is still alive. That's all David looking at, to show kindness. So that doesn't matter to David. David said, "I'm about to give you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul. And not only that, you sit at the table with me every day. You're going to eat at the table every day." It's special for him to eat at the table, because a number of kings eat at David's table. So you will always eat at my table. So the son bowed down, and he said, "What is your servant that you should notice a dead dog like me?" By he being crippled, he think he not important. He think he's a nobody. He think he's just a dead dog. And so, but David don't think he know David though. You know, David think he is a decent person that deserves to be at that table. You know, cause David loved the giants. You know, so he think he not important to sit at the table. You know, he just in shock. But you remember David said, I only want to show you some kindness, you know, and honor you. You know, and David is honoring him and showing him kindness. And the son just can't even take it in, you know, because he said, somebody like me, a dead dog like me, you know. So now we see that he's about to be rich. He's about to be rich. David about to restore everything to him that his grandfather owned. Everything that his grandfather owned, David said, I'm about to restore it all to you. You know, so we see he about to be rich. And we see he gonna eat good every day at David's table. And he gonna be sitting among kings because David always have kings sitting at his table for dinner. You know, so now we see he about to be rich. He's about to own everything that his grandfather had. He about to be restored to all, to you, showing kindness to you and honoring you. I love your father, Jonathan. You know, so that's the words he always say. You know, not owning the land is about to be for you, but you're gonna eat at my table every day. You know, you're gonna eat at this table every day. So by him being crippled, he think he is a nobody, saying that you notice me, a dead dog. You know, so David, that didn't matter to David. That didn't matter to David at all. You know, so now David telling Saul, servant, that he had given Jonathan's son everything. You know, everything. You know, that belongs to Saul. And he gave it to Jonathan's son. You know, his family. You know, so David is telling the son, you and your son, 'cause remember I told you the son have his own family. You know, he didn't stop living life. You know, he had made his own family. You know, he telling David telling the son that you and your sons, your family, you know, he telling the servant they all form the land. You know, he giving the land to them that belongs to Saul. You know, so now the son gonna be eating at David's table like one of the king's son. Now he said, I'm about to start eating at David's table, and I'm gonna feel like one of the king's son. You see what I'm saying? That this boy grew up by himself. You know, from since he was 5 years old, just lost his father, his grandfather. You know, and raised up with this nurse, which it was a beautiful thing because she took good care of him. You know, so he been alone until he got grown and met up with David's servant. You know, and now he was David. You know, about to own everything that his grandfather owned. And not only that, he gonna be eating at David's table every day, sitting among the kings. And now he's saying he feel like one of the king's son. You know, because he gonna be important. You know, he gonna be sitting at the table with all the kings. Now he ain't grow up like this. Now he about to be growing up. He about to be raised up like this here now. You know, he about to start eating good. He about to start sitting at the table among all the kings and everything. You know, he owned all the land. You know, now the servant that used to be for his grandfather about to be his servants. You know, he about to have a servant. You know, so you see how the table can turn. You see how the table can turn. There was a little boy that's 5 years old that lost everything. Lost everything. Lucky he had a loving nurse that loved him, that took care of him. You know, treat him like that was her own son. You know, she taught him to be respectful because when he saw David, he bowed down to show David respect. You know, but I'm just saying, you see how God can turn the table. You know, this all God in the mix with all this here. You know, this boy lost everything. And now this boy here gaining it all back. You know, see, a lot of time when you lose everything, like Jonah lost everything, you know, God allow him to get it triple back. You know, now this boy here, he done lost family and all. Now this boy here about to own everything. And he about the servant out for his grandfather about to be his servant. He about to eat at the table with kings every day. You know, he about to get employees to start helping run that land. You know, getting his father's servant to help him run that land. You know, so the table turn. The table turn. He about to be rich. You know, he about to start sitting at the table with kings. He said, I feel like one of the king's son. You know, you may tell me somebody like me about to start sitting at the table. You know, David have all the kings at his table for dinner. You know, so that's why he gonna be sitting at the table like a king. You know, the table had a turn for him. You know, he was a 5 years old boy when he had to run for his life. He had lost his father, his grandfather. He didn't have anything. Had to start all over again with the nurse. Hide from the public. You know, now he is a grown man. You know, got in touch with David. And David giving him everything that his grandfather owned. Everything that his grandfather owned. The tables hadn't a turn. You know, he's rich. He got his grandfather's servants working for him, helping him run that land and everything. You know, sitting at the table, eating good every day, just sitting there looking like a king. You know, and see that's how God can do. You know, you can lose everything. David, not David, Joe. Jonah lost everything, but got it all back at the end, and got triple back. You know, this boy here done lost everything. You know, he ain't grew up with riches or nothing like that. You know, because he lived with the nurse. You know, he had it, you know, but then he lost it all. You know, so the son said, I'm about to sit at the table like one of the king's sons. Now he said he about to sit at the table like one of the king's sons. You know, so now we see. Now since he was 5 years old, you know, he was crippled. You know, he done lost his father, he done lost his grandfather. You know, he thought life was over for him. You know, but he become to be crippled for the rest of his life. You know, but by him being crippled, he ain't let the death stop him. He still lived life because he had made his own family. He still lived life. And two, we see that he owned everything now. You know, everything. You know, so this boy here he's blessed. He is blessed. You know, so now he owned everything that his grandfather owned. You know, three, he lost everything. But now God will give everything back to him. You know, get everything back to him. And he not only getting everything back to him, he gonna be eating good every day. You know, they just didn't say they had no wine, nothing like that, but he gonna be sitting at the table eating good. Sitting at the table eating good, looking like one of the kings. You know, he said, I feel like one of the king's son. You know, so after a while, I guess he's gonna start getting comfortable because he's gonna be one of the kings. You know, so not only he owned land and property, you know, but he would be sitting at the table among so many kings. You know, so David have kings and servants that sit at his table for dinner. You know, but the son will be one that gonna be sitting at the table also. You know, and one of the servants gonna talk about, oh, well, he crippled. You know, David not worrying about that. You know, it's a blessing that Jonathan's son is still alive. That's all David worrying about. You know, David wanted to show kindness, you know, and honor someone and bless someone. And since it's Jonathan's son, that's good. That's icing on the cake for David. You know, because he loved the Jonathan. You know, so the son was worried about being crippled. Because remember, he said, you know, someone like me, a dead dog. You know, so David didn't look at him as he was crippled. You know, because the servant said it twice. You know, when he told the servant to go get the boy, but you know, he crippled in both of the legs. So now when he did get the boy, they were trying to tell the servant that I didn't give him all the land, and I told him he gonna eat at the table with us, and he brought it again. He crippled. that doesn't matter to David. David wants to know is show kindness and blessing. So they weren't worried about him being crippled. It was a blessing that Jonathan's son is still alive, and the table hadn't turned. Because now he rich. He got servants working for him now. He gonna be sitting at the table with kings. He gonna eat good every day. Him and his family. He ain't gotta worry about where they gonna sleep at because he owned all the land. He owned all the land. Saul had so much stuff. So Saul was rich, and now the grandson about to be rich. About to own all that stuff and sitting at the table among kings every day when dinner time. Every day he gonna be sitting at the table with kings and servants and everything else. That he gonna have his grandfather servants working for him. So the table in a turn. So don't never think you're nobody. Don't never let nobody lower self your esteem. No matter if you crippled, no matter if you got a low paying job, no matter if you don't have expensive clothes, don't let nobody tear you down. Don't let nobody tell you you're nobody. Don't let nobody tell you you're nobody. You keep your head up and you keep on pressing your way through, and you keep on thinking like you're a king. You keep on thinking like you're a queen. Don't let the cripple. You didn't let the cripple assault you all the rest of your life. But you wait till you get to the table with David, and you feel like you not accepted deserve to be at the table with the king. My thing is, no matter if you down this right here, no matter you got little money, don't matter if you short, don't matter if you cripple. You deserve to be whatever table that you deserve to be at. Whatever table God tell you you're gonna sit at. That's the table you need to sit at. Don't never say you dead meat. Don't never think you nobody. Don't never think low self esteem of yourself. Don't never think you just under somebody like that. Cause see, when Jesus was on earth, Jesus act like he was on the same level with everyone. He never act like he was up here and we was down here. So y'all always think, because that's what everybody tell me. You just walk with confidence. Everybody got more money than you, and you just walk like you got it all. That's how you got to be. You got to think big. Even if you ain't big, think big. If you're not a king, think you're a king. If you're not a queen, act like you're a queen. This boy here about to be rich. And at first he couldn't take it in. Somebody like me, he couldn't take it in at first. So I want all y'all to know, think like you're a king. Think like you're a queen. Walk with confidence. Because this boy here, he was walking with confidence. Remember I read that he was standing taller than anybody else. But then when he gets to David, among all those kings, he just started thinking he just down here. And he looking at him being crippled. He didn't worry about that, not his life. And so he got next to these queens. It doesn't matter if you get next to the kings and queens. You can fit in. Because that's what God wants. That's what God wants you to do. God lead him to David to collect what belongs to you. Nobody else in that bloodline alive but you. You deserve that. So don't never think you don't deserve to sit at the table with kings. Don't never think you don't deserve to sit at the table with queens. Y'all think kings, you think queens. If somebody tell you come sit at this table, and you see this big old, professionals and business people and all this. Don't be afraid. Because David had told him when he first met David, he bowed down. He was scared and nervous. David had told him, don't be afraid, because he saw all them kings, he saw all them servants, and he got afraid. Don't get afraid. When it comes to be your time, like this boy was. See, God had him hidden from the public. And it was time for this boy to show up. You know, God made sure he show up being among kings, being among kings and got everything that belongs to him. So God will have you hidden for a long period of time. And when it's time for you to show up, you're going to show up. And you ain't going to show her up empty handed. This boy is not going home empty. He ain't even go back home, because the nurse had to die. So he own anything. He can pick wherever house he want. Wherever you want to build a house at. You pick whatever you want. So once he got there, there ain't no need for him to go back home because he owned everything. He owned everything. So God had him hidden for so many years. Had him hidden from the public. And God used David to start figuring out who you gonna give all this stuff to. It's time for you to honor someone. It's time for you to start seeing all this stuff belongs to. Give it to somebody that deserve it, who deserve it. This boy here deserve it. This boy that went to physical problem, mental, and this boy emotional. He done went through so much. He done lost everything. The luck of this nurse loved him enough, to care for him like that was her own child. So he was so afraid at first. He was just so afraid, because she goes up there by David and he's seeing all these kings, he's seeing all these servants, and then David telling him, you're going to sit at this table every day. You're going to be among us. You're going to sit at this table. So he just looking around like somebody like me. So when it's your time, when is your time? To be to set appearance, at a table or on the stage. Don't be afraid. You fit to sit among kings. You fit to sit among queens. You just pull that seat out, and you just sit down. You sit down like one of them. He said, I feel like one of the king's son. You are. We kings and queens. So if someone said, you're going to start sitting at our table, just say, okay. And it's for that child and you sit there, because you're a queen. You're a king. So this boy that live a life of trauma, losing two important people in his life. Lucky he had that nurse. She taught, she gave him the tools to live life. He did it very well. But then when he gets to David, he just started feeling low self-esteem, lack of faith. So he was just so nervous. He saw all them kings, all them servants. So I hope y'all enjoyed this word. And remember, when is your time? When is your time? And especially when you had a rough life like this boy did, like Joe did, had a rough life, and it's your time to receive whatever belongs to you. Don't get afraid. Just say, okay, thank you. Thank you, my Heavenly Father. Thank God. Because God used people to bless you. God had this boy hidden until he used them. Okay, it's time for you to start looking for this boy. It's time for you to start looking for this bloodline so that you can start giving this stuff away. So he ain't just on it, give stuff away. He fed this boy. Every day you gonna come at my table every day and eat. He among so many kings and so many servants. And so he just was so nervous. I guess eventually he gonna fit in and feel comfortable. I guess he ain't been around people in so long because the nurse had him hidden from the public. Some kind of country he was at. Hidden. God will hid you for a long time until He's ready for you to step out. So I hope y'all enjoy this word, and I hope y'all have a blessed night. Remember, you all kings and you all queens. And you deserve to sit at the table. So y'all have a blessed night, and I see y'all in the next video.